This is about sharing my experience and the experience of Benefits SIG to give you a perspective on the importance of benefits in the PMO. Just wanted to start off to share with you, and you may be aware of this already, but we've done a lot of research in recent years and thought leadership into the aspects of benefits around change leadership. And these are a number of free thought leadership reports that are available on the APM website for download. But you see that we've done a number of these with a strong focus on change leadership and how you drive change through benefits realisation. Again, we published a series of these in May of this year. Again, with a strong focus on the end-to-end journey that is around benefits realisation. I think they are a very valuable set of resources that for any organisation which is looking at the end-to-end benefits management across its domain. Just wanted to start off to share my perspective on the change journey. This is about highlighting that the world of benefits is much more than just about the whole world of project and program management. We start off at the very top, and it's a three-step journey with strategy, then we have delivery, then we have the embedding of change. And the important thing for me is that it's benefits driven all the way through. And I think it highlights the importance of these benefits in the change journey, and the fact that we can't just have a look at this through a PPM lens. It needs to be across the whole life cycle of how we strategize change, how we deliver it, and how we embed it. I just thought that it's really important that we focus on things like innovation and culture. And I know they sound like buzzwords, but the important aspect here is that this is a journey across the organisation involving a whole host of different professional groups in that journey. And it does highlight that we can't really get benefits absolutely right through the PPM community. There's an awful lot more that needs to be done in other parts of the organisation. And that is the main point that I want to highlight. We did some work about 2 or 3 years ago, and that we identified about 14 professional groups across any organisation who have a vested interests in the approach in the benefits realisation. So, the executive board, we have the economists, we have the project and program managers, the HR people, the change people. They all have to work together in terms of how we deliver benefits. And I've seen a lot of organisations who are very focused on PPM and very focused on PPM and benefits. And it's quite limiting to have a very narrow lens around benefits. And we've got to look across the whole aspects of this change journey, which is a really important point as we have a look at the other aspects of this presentation. Again, I just wanted to share with you what's my view of the benefit. I'm often challenged on this. So it is the positive equals a measurable impact of change on the performance of the organisation, and it should contribute to one or more strategic objectives. Now, I often get challenged to say, well, that's all very well for the organisation, but how about for the stakeholders or people who sit outside of the organisation? And my challenge back on that is that every project has an organisation of one type or another that's investing in it, and they are buying the benefits through having invested in the project. And this is the important point, that they have specific objectives, they have performance that they've got to achieve, and they're buying the benefits. Yes, there will be knock-on benefits that apply to other organisations, but we have to look at who's investing and who's getting the benefit from that. So I think that's an important aspect of this definition. Again, I just want to focus on the PMO. I mean, clearly, it's become more important than ever, and we've moved beyond the point of having PMOs who take minutes and who undertake admin tasks. That's in the past. But now it's much more about leadership, it's much more about direction, it's much more about driving change through the organisation. And again, if we focus on our change journey, that every organisation has a strategy and they have change that they have to deliver. And that having a PMO is a core part of delivering that change. I think in recent years, as you'll be aware, there's been a much stronger focus on cost reduction. And a much closer role in the PMO in how we drive change, how we achieve cost reduction. I mean, certainly in the public sector, where I work, it's been a big focus on cost reduction. It's been the same across the private sector. But clearly, this is driving how we professionalise our PMOs and how we professionalise PPM in general. Again, we are getting much more successful at how we deliver projects and focusing on the APM's vision that they have that is for 2020. It's about every project succeeding. It's all about actually increasing project success all the time. And again, I'm seeing PMOs every day right at the heart of how we deliver successful projects. Again, when we look at how we professionalise PPM, this is ever increasing in the organisations who I've worked with in the past and I currently work with. And I see this as a key part of actually driving forward the PMO because it has a key role to play in how we develop professionalism and how we drive standards and success. Again, you'll all be familiar with our 3 types of PMO. I think it's important to stand back and actually consider the aspect of benefits around the 3 different types. So, with the project management office, which tends to be quite focused on output delivery, as you're aware. Then we have the program management office, which again will be focused on a set of projects that have interdependencies and having the overall outcome of that program delivered. And I think what has been very prevalent in recent years has been a focus on having the portfolio management office, which has the overall view of benefits across the organisation. And that's where I've seen a lot of development in recent years around this angle. Again, I think it's important to emphasise that they are similar in approach, yet they are fundamentally different in skill sets. The project management office is more focused around projects, clearly. If we're in the portfolio management office, we've got more oversight across the whole of the change journey. So we're looking at policy, we're looking at strategy, we're looking at the embedding of change, all the stuff around OD, HR aspects. It's a much wider focus. So I think that from a benefits perspective, that's important that we differentiate between those 3 and the things that they should focus on and achieve. And that you'll all be familiar with all the different names that we apply on these, that unseen delivery units, that unseen value management officers. But the important point is that they have a lot in common around how we deliver benefits. Again, just wanted to very briefly focus here on the pyramid. I mean, again, I put a big emphasis on strategy because there's a very close link in beneficiarisation and strategy. And then sitting at the top of the pyramid, we have the portfolio, we've got our strategy. And you'll see that as we move down to programs, we move down to projects. We have a sense of the overall benefits are being aggregated up the pyramid. And there is a strong role for the PMO at each of those 3 levels to have a consistent approach. So things like double counting, to ensure that people have the right knowledge, have the right standards, have the right guidance that we can do this right. And that's much wider than BPM. That involves bringing the finance community, involves bringing in strategists, the whole piece. And again, the importance of how we communicate. I've seen a lot of people who actually join communications and benefits. Now, that you might say that they are very different skill sets. But in fact, I find quite a lot of synergy in how we drive communications through having important messages that will directly impact the benefits. And these are the important aspects of how we join this up. Again, having the right management information that we have on benefits. This is all about how we present the metrics, the KPIs, etc., and having a clear view across the organisation. And there's a very strong role for the PMO in how we provide that information and having that coordinated across the organisation. And I've worked with some really good PMOs that have done this really well, and I've worked with some PMOs which have absolutely failed miserably at this. But what's important for me is that they don't work in isolation of the rest of the organisation. They've got to bring in all the key players, bring in the partnership, got the finance people, HR people, all the people involved in this, all the different levels must be brought in together and have a common purpose around benefits realisation. This is important. That in my experience, I'd like to share this with you, there are 4 different elements of a strategic and integrated approach to benefits. And this is all quite relevant to PMO, because we have to have capability, and that's across the organisation. And it's important that we build capability and we drive it. And that's about bringing people in who maybe haven't traditionally been involved in managing change, who come from an operational background and have a strong role in how benefits are realised. We've got to build the capability, build the understanding, build the approach. And that's really important. Then we have the assurance. And for those of you that work in government, you'll be very aware of how we do gateway review and gate 5 with a strong focus on operations and benefits. And it's really important that we are improving how we do this across government. We haven't got it right in the past. It's improving all the time. But the big focus is, have we got the right assurance that we can realise the actual benefits of the programme? And that's challenging. It's very challenging to go, of respects, because I've seen many organisations that have quite senior people who don't want to have their performance judged on the back of realising benefits that they may or may not have control over. So the whole aspect of assurance and how it's built into the PMO is critical. And again, I've seen few organisations who've gotten this right, but I've seen a lot who've gotten this wrong. And there's a strong role for the PMO in having the overall assurance of benefits across the organisation. Again, standards and guidance. I'll be absolutely honest. I think there's an awful lot of process out there on benefits, and it's rubbish. It is process for the sake of process. We're starting to see a lot around professional, we're starting to see a lot around professionalism. And Steve's latest guidance is actually a testament to this is moving forward to a level of professionalism which is taken out of the area of this having been amateur. And we're really now starting to focus on the key aspects of how to professionalise this. It's all about standards and guidance, it's all about capability. And that is changing, having been already in the past period. And having support. Again, I've seen so many PMOs who will have guidance based on the MSP manual, which is a few pages, and they'll stick it up on the intranet and expect everyone to actually read it and have a great understanding of how to realise benefits. In my view, it doesn't work that way, because if you're bringing people who work cross-functionally across the organisation, who are finance community, people who are in the HR community, who don't talk PPM language, we're trying to engage them in how we realise benefits. It's really, really important that we use the right language, number one, and that we have the right engagement strategies, and we bring them into the fold, and that we have close partnership working on benefits. Really, really important. I think that a key point of this, as you see in the bottom, is this is about taking these 4 areas and having a look at the overall change journey of the organisation, and having a look at all of the various professional groups that we need to bring into this. And there will be many, many across any organisation, and that a large number of them will sit outside PPM. Again, I just wanted to share briefly with you. We've done a number of surveys over the years on benefits. I wanted to share some of the aspects of how this relates to the PMO with you. So we started off back in 2009. We did a UK-wide survey, got back about 700 responses, which we were very, very pleased with. And we asked people, how satisfied are you with your PMO and how effective it is in supporting the delivery of benefits? And it's really interesting that 61% of people have said satisfied, and that 30% has said dissatisfied. I think it's really good to get 61%, but I also think it's quite challenging to think that almost a third of people are not happy. Now, that has moved on in recent years, I'm glad to say, but it still does have that we have a lot more work to do in this area. Again, we did a survey last year, which was done on an all-Ireland basis. We joined up with CIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accounting, to do a joint survey. We got back a few hundred responses into that. I just wanted to actually compare these. So if we have a look at the survey back in 2009, that we asked respondents for the function that that is responsible in the organisation for providing best practice and guidance. And it's interesting to look at the survey that was undertaken back in 2009, has the PMO as about a third of that area. We also have don't know, which is very interesting. So we have a third of people who don't know where to turn in the organisation for support and benefits. But that was back in 2009. In the survey that we did last year, it's really interesting that the finance function has come out as almost a third. Now, that may be reflective of the fact that we had some quite significant senior participation in that. But it's interesting that the over PMO is only 18%. And I wonder how influence the overall cost reduction agenda has had on this. I think that there's a lot more focus now in the likes of Siemens and the accounting field around benefits realisation. I think you'd be aware that ACCA have benefits realisation now as a core part of their syllabus for how they train their accountants. And Siemens are currently looking at this. So again, it's interesting. And just wanted to, this actually is very interesting, that we asked them in a survey back in 2009 about how would you describe the approach that is in benefits in your organisation. And very, very interesting that almost half have described it as informal or ad hoc, which is very alarming in one sense. Then we asked the question back last year, and it hasn't changed. So I think we've a lot more work to do. It's still on the maturity curve, and I know with having this latest guidance, with all the work that is done across government, across the PMOC, the APM involved in this, there's a lot more being done, but it's a long journey to actually get to the point of having really, really good benefits realisation. Again, just wanted to share with you some of my experience in terms of the opportunities. I'm seeing a lot of convergence. Again, if we go back to the change journey, I mentioned that there's a whole go of professional groups all taking a close interest in benefits realisation. And PPM is just one of those. I've seen some very good examples. I spent some time working about 2 years ago. Spent some time up in DVI in Wales, looking at how they do, about how they manage change. And they did a quite innovative thing that they set up a change unit with a direct report into their chief executive who had come from Virgin Media. And they brought together the change management function, they brought operational performance management and their PMO and formed a single unit. And it was really, really powerful. Operational performance management was how they drove their performance across the organisation. And they brought benefits realisation into the fold, and they brought change management into that fold. Now, they had a fair share of challenges, but still, it's a very powerful way of actually bringing synergy into this. I think that I'm seeing a lot of convergence across organisations, where we're starting to actually look at how we manage performance in BAU and how we manage performance around change. I think that there are many, many opportunities in all of our organisations about how we engage people in benefits and how we engage all the professional groups involved. And this is all about professionalism and about how we increase the overall success of our projects. And I'm now going to hand you over to Ralph, who's going to share his perspective with you on benefits. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter. When I put together the event, and we're going to talk about PMO and benefits, usually I don't like to get up and do a bit of speaking and try and get other people involved, but as me and Peter got discussing about PMO and benefits, says, okay, Ralph, I've worked in quite a few PMOs now, in different sectors, different businesses, at portfolio level, at program level, and I've done benefits management in quite a few of those engagements I've been on. So we felt rather than talk about
first part of the presentation. You may be aware that we have a student award that we give out every year in the Benefits City. And I'm very pleased this year that we have a very worthy winner in Carlos and Sarah. I think that I'm going to actually take the easy option of mentioning Carlos's name and just say Carlos Sarah. So at this stage, I'm going to ask Carlos to join me on stage. I'm up to Nick Wensley, who's my co-chair at the Benefits Day, and we're just going to actually do a quick presentation. Carlos.
I just read a few words. Well, good evening. I remember very clearly that 1 year ago I contacted Peter Klein to asking him for help on my research, and then he told me about this student award. And at that time I thought, oh, no way, APM is a British association. We have no background of benefits realization in Brazil, and I thought, oh, they will never select a paper from a Brazilian guy. And nevertheless, I did my best. I got distinction on my dissertation, and I submitted the paper. And when a few days ago, David West said that my paper had been selected, I said, wow, I can't believe that. I was really happy and surprised. And I'm very glad to be here, and I want to say thanks to the Benefits team for all the support and now for this recognition. And then I want to take this opportunity to say thank you very much to the 371 anonymous respondents of my surveys. I think that some of them may be here today. And they have invested their precious time in supporting the development of our profession. And I think that they are so responsible as I am for the success of my research. And moreover, I really hope that my findings can contribute to the project management community, and you will find it interesting. Thanks a lot.